actually was you, Mark. So you had a question about CSS animations across pages. Are you down to maybe show us what you're working on or tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. I have it pulled up. Basically, it's just almost like if you could imagine like a quiz type of flow, almost like type form, but I have the different cards that ask the different questions are different pages. Essentially, they're page components, I guess. And a lot of them look very similar. And just so for a UI perspective, I just wanted some kind of animation that shrinks it and pops the other one up, or shoots it up out of view or something like that, just to show people when they hit the submit button that they're going to the next question, because a lot of them look the same. And for people that build stuff like us, we know it's different, but I've found users can kind of get confused. If the next question looks the same, they'll miss that it's a new question. They'll think something's wrong. So I was just wondering how to get the animations to go from to get a page to leave basically the view and bring another one in. I've played with it a little bit and kind of got it to work, but with CSS classes. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, that'd be great. Drew's going to be really a lot better at this than I've got an interesting template I can send you. It's not a template technically. I can make it a template that I have like a stacked repeating list element.
Yeah.
Where I also did some custom work to allow for swipes and pan events. And so
okay.
Honestly, I was trying to recreate like a Tinder-like experience for moving cards.
Yeah.
And so swipe a card off screen, and then the next one like expands and takes its spot. So I just wanted to mention it because it might be something that's helpful to just take a peek at for this after.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because that essentially just anything I can trigger on a button click. So I have a page here that I have another page that holds the whole everything, but I basically have this page that holds kind of the audit is what I'm calling it. And then these cards just show as different components. And so I don't have it all built out, but I have a couple here. And then essentially when they click, when they click this button, I just want it to run a flow. So it'll run a flow on this page. That then I just want it to I can have it where it hides. So right now, how it looks is if I just type something in and hit enter, it goes to the next one. So I just can't figure out every time I try to add an animation to it to make it do something, it animates, but it's kind of glitchy. And I wonder if it's because it's I have these, I'm running the animation on one of these pages and it's inside another page. I wonder if it's I don't know if it's a container.
That probably shouldn't matter, but Drew's going to be able to help a lot. So I'll shut up and let him.
I'm sure you can help with this one too, but I think there's like a million ways to do this. And I think you've got a good setup here it's a good approach. I agree. I don't think that it matters necessarily page inside a page, but okay. There are things that if you do it slightly wrong, the animation could be choppy or something. So okay. The basic ways, and let me just confirm that this is what you're doing, but instead of using element hide and element show, you're using add class and remove class and that original class has a on it.
That's how I did it at first. So I did right now, I just had it that way just so I could build it, but I have this where the card is the current card.
Yeah.
And the CSS class is just regular, the transition, right? Scale. I had the minus 500 on transform Y, but I just used scale because I was trying to then duplicate the to get it to work. I was trying to duplicate the carousel workflows kind of.
Gotcha.
Just to make sure I was doing it right. And it still doesn't quite work that way. So that's for a card that's currently in view. And then I have for one that's waiting to come into view. So I don't know if I just made too many of these, but enter is for one that's not in view and is waiting to come in view. And then exit is to make it, go away basically. So I don't know if that's right. So I have where it's, when it's waiting, I assume this is making it, if the scale is 0, then I'm making it, when I apply the current to it and the scale is 100, I'm making it show up.
Yep.
And so how I was doing that before was I would just add, is toggle the best way to do it, or is it add?
You can toggle's fine, for sure, because it's just doing add and remove behind the scenes. I usually use specific add and remove because it's kind of like, it's definitely not necessary, but like I've ran into a bunch of situations just from like being an experienced developer where like something else changes that class, and then the next time you go and hit toggle, it's like out of sync. Like there's like ways that it can get messed up, but usually that never happens. So like
Okay.
I don't really recommend against using toggle class, but I use explicit add and remove.
Okay.
I think what you said at one point in there is actually what the issue might be, is that you have kind of too many classes. You could get this done in the way you want, where you have like a pre-state, a current state, and a post-state. But
Okay.
actually, the other way, the much easier way to think about this would be you have a hidden and a shown state.
Okay.
So you have like a state where it's in view, and then you have another state where it's hidden. And,
Yeah.
and it does like the transition into view, will show it, and then it like reverses. So when you remove that class, that it's going to do the transition in reverse, basically. And it keeps it much simpler.
Yeah,
so
that's
it ends
really
up
all I
being,
need.
what's that?
That'd be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and what it looks like then is you have like the flows to hide and show.
Yeah.
Want to show page 2. First, you run something that hides all the pages or all the other pages, and then you just show page 2, and it should just handle all those transitions and everything for you once it's set up correct. Once
Yeah,
everything
I think what I have is on page load, it hides everything but the main one.
Mhm.
And then I was just using
I see.
kind of show and hide. So I wasn't sure if, like with the class, if I should, so instead of trying to toggle the class to get the animation or to get it to the other state, I could completely remove the whole hide thing, right?
Yeah. So if you use a transition hide and like add and remove class and the hide and show, that's going to definitely mess you up too, because
Okay.
when you add hide completely, all it does is add a inline style property of display none. So
Where
it's
I could
actually,
just do that
if
on
you
the
have a
top.
transition, you won't see the transition because it'll disappear. It'll go to display none instantly.
Okay, that's why, because it's trying to, when I add the transitions in, it looks like it gets like a quarter of the way through the transition.
Yeah. And then that hide
So-
is just hiding it. That's what's happening. Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably why. So in the state, the class that handles the state where it's not visible, should I add display none into, well,
The only thing you want to make it display none somehow, but if display actually doesn't allow transition. So if you did
Okay.
display none, it wouldn't transition. But if you do what you have, scale 0, transform scale 0, that'll take care of it.
okay, and then that'll make it so that it's not taking up space on the page either.
It'll actually make it so it's taking up space technically, now that you mention it. So if you need to get rid of the space, there's a really cool workaround that I can tell you. It's a little complex, but I feel like you'd be able to handle this. But in your transition, right now you can do like transition all for all properties, and then say you do like a quarter of a second, right?
Yeah.
You can actually do that, but also add a second transition that makes it display none with a quarter second delay.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it'll transition all the properties, and in a quarter second it'll do the transition, and then that quarter second delay is done. So then it hides it right when it's done. You can do stuff like that and basically get tricky.
Yeah, that would probably work. Is that just a delay action then, or?
So you actually write it in the transition property. So if you pull up the
Oh yeah, that's right. That was kind of where it says like where was just to make sure I'm thinking the same thing.
Mhm.
Let's see, I just went with X or whatever.
Yeah. So see
Would it
that
be in here?
transition all? It actually keep what you have there, and right after the word out, but before the semicolon, you can do a comma and do like a second transition. But you can do like a million transition properties in a row if you want. So this one you just write display. It's because you just want to target the display property, and then you can the timing here doesn't matter, so you can do like 0s for like 0 seconds because the display is just going to snap. So yeah, no, you keep no colon there. It's actually you're mirroring where it says all 0.5 seconds ease in, ease out. You're mirroring that, but you're writing display 0 seconds, So you do space 0, and then here's where you add a delay in. So here's the delay. You can do 0.5 seconds for the delay. And this is really confusing because it's all shorthand, but you can just type right here, 0.5 S. And then you don't need an ease in and out. You could, but you don't need it there. So it's really just like that. And what
Just
that's
like
saying
that?
is transition
Okay.
all properties, 0.5 seconds ease and out, transition just display 0 seconds, but with a 0.5 second delay.
Okay,
It's
I see. Do I need
complicated,
the
but I
S
feel
there?
like when you wrap your head around it, it makes sense.
Do I need the S there or no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it doesn't,
perfect.
it won't hurt. Yeah, that's
Okay.
just saying 0 seconds. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and that gives me enough. I can kind of play around with it. But I think part of the problem was my trying to hide the element.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that was-
that's.
that
I
was
mean, I think
probably-
at this point you might need to finesse this to really get it to look how you want.
Yeah.
But you've got the building blocks in place. Like it won't look jagged or weird now. You'll understand.
Yeah,
what's
that's
happening.
perfect. I'd rather than just getting the answer, I'd rather get like
Yeah.
this where it's a good direction, because if I can play with it and figure it out, it allows me to do much more later on too. So that's perfect.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
That's the best attitude ever to have. Oh, I was gonna say, don't forget to save those, Jane.
Yeah, I know. I'm learning that. So
Okay, so
awesome. Yeah, that should be it on that. So thanks, guys. I
Mark?
appreciate it.
you're good. You're in a good direction.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Drew, thank you. That was cool. Okay, let's move over to Anne. Are you ready to come up and chat with us? Share my screen. Hey, Anne.
Hello.
All right, Anne needs help connecting incorrect multiple choice answers to trigger an explanation pop-up.
Right. So currently, let me just show you what I have is they go into, is a language learning app. They go into a module and select a task. And within there, there's like a multiple choice question. And I need to fix this to enable it once I select an answer. And here, the correct answer would be C, and the rest is incorrect. So if I just click continue, it's supposed to have like a pop-up from the bottom, which is what I like. But I wonder, yeah, there's some fixing I have to do, because currently all of the options are giving me the pop-up when only A and B should. So my setup, like it looks like this. On the multiple choice question test, I must be doing something wrong here, but I have click select multiple choice answer. And once it's selected, it will add a class to show that it's like highlighted like this. And then I set a variable on the parent page, which is this page, called select MC answer. And I'm not sure if this is the correct thing I'm supposed to do. Is the value of the variable, I set it as either 0 or 1. So 0 means incorrect and 1 means correct. And then I run flow on page, so only 1 can be selected. And then I move over to here. In my continue button, I have 2 steps. So first step is to call the variable, and I probably calling from the wrong page. I should
Yeah, it should be
multiple
like
choice.
page.
Yep.
The current page, I think.
Should be current page.
I guess it depends on where this lives, but it looks like you went to the parent. You set it on the parent, right?
Yeah.
And then this is the parent page.
Yeah.
You can just do current page then.
Okay. Thank you. So I set it as the variable equals, if there is something selected, then it will enable the continue button. So this should be pretty standard, but I don't know why it's not working. So anyway, and it should take me to the next page, step 2, to check if the multiple choice answer is correct, which is 1. So I go here and go to the next validation step. And once again, this should be current page because of the variable. And then if it equals to 1, that's the correct answer. It should take me to the next page. If it's incorrect, it should have a pop-up. And the pop-up, I have no idea what I'm doing here, just like playing around with things here. So I don't know if that's correct. So basically, the page to open into container, I have a container, empty container set on this page at the bottom. So it should open up the pop-up page and into the container or div. And I'm not sure what I should select here, like current value or current record or something like that. So I think that's where I'm stuck.
Couple of questions. one, I'm curious where because we did just change the location of that first step in the flow. Do you know where it's breaking down in the process right now? Like, have you gone step by step to see?
Yeah,
Like,
I would say test it because those values were definitely wrong. So every time it runs through this, it's going to say incorrect answer. And now you fix them. You should test it real quick because it might just work. The setup looks pretty good otherwise. I mean,
yeah, you definitely like got most of the complexity in place here, it looks like.
Okay, let me just try.
She doesn't sound too convinced.
So C is the
Can't be
correct
that
one.
easy.
A, that's just A, and you know, this is not enabling. After I click it, it is. I don't know why. And then my explanation is also not connected. So, okay, and I also want to know how to close this, which is another question. Yeah, but let's focus on the enabling criteria first.
Drew,
so
you want-
wait,
I have a
try
few-
C, right? Don't I need to try the correct one
Okay,
or B or whatever one was the correct one?
C was the correct.
Because I think it was always coming up incorrect. So,
Mhm.
you know, yeah.
C. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, it moved.
So that
Wow.
was just those pages.
Oh, okay. So I guess I need to change the
logic
Mhm.
activating.
Yeah, like even like right here, I don't know what I put here. So
That open page in the container that you're running there,
yeah,
you're opening that like explanation page, and if you might not need to pass it any record like that
Okay.
where it's selected on specific records, but if you do need to pass a record, it has to do with whatever information is on that page. But I don't think this won't affect that continue button though. I don't know if that's what you meant.
Yeah, there's a couple things. One, the you do need to pass a record. Like, is the explanation attached to the wrong answer or is it attached to the question?
it's
Okay.
attached to the wrong answer. So let me
Okay.
show you real quick.
That's
Multiple choice answer, and then I have a field called explanation text, and it's connected to incorrect answer.
so another thing to do whenever you select the question or the answer, rather, in addition to setting a variable for is correct on the parent page, I might also set the ID of answer.
Which page? Like this page.
Yeah, from your question page. So when it gets selected,
Right.
so not the page you're on now, it looks like back on the MC on the top right.
This time. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
When you in that flow, when you select it, you can copy that. Like,
Which one? Copy which one? This one?
duplicate the set variable, yep. And then I would drag it over the run flow in page. And I would personally put a wait before that run flow in page. Probably doesn't matter, but it's just a little bit of a maintenance thing. So let's select one of the new, let's rename this one to selected, either way, they're the same now, so we can do either.
Okay.
So selected answer ID or whatever, it's clear for that.
I don't know.
Yep, whatever you want to use it. And then do current record field value and just pull it from the ID. So you're good there. Just do ID. There you go. So now, and again, there's a few different ways to do this too, but in this setup, now if we go to when we open that page with the explanation, the record that we want to pass is going to be a specific record. And we're going to, you were like right on the cusp of the right thing there. You just didn't have the context that you needed for it.
Okay, like
So
here,
it's-
right?
Yep. Yeah. So it is specific record that you need to pass.
Okay.
And it's going to be from the multiple choice answers.
Mhm.
You need to get more than just the ID. I would just do get all fields probably. You're gonna realistically in your setup here, all the information is going to be local. So this is probably not going to run a data call. And then filter. And filter the ID by that variable that we just set. So do
Oh,
change from variable. Current page, yep. And so now
Um,
you're passing, this is all that's good, yep. Or no,
Okay.
switch to JSON. JSON, right, there we go.
okay.
So now by doing that click, we've identified to our parent page here which answer was selected, which is then needed in that flow setup to appropriately pass that context to the pop-up.
Okay. So let's try again.
One thing I'd note too, and this is more of a setup change, we can do it later. I probably would do this in like a lightbox instead of like on the bottom of the page, which
Uh-huh.
would be a fairly simple setup to adjust, but we can do that later. Psst.
Ooh, amazing. Okay. Can I
I'll-
just ask how to
Can we,
fix
can we
it?
like make this like our mascot at Builder the Llama?
I'll make a new one for you guys.
I can't steal the mask.
We can get a whole crowd of all of like the people that built on it, all their logos, and like the llama can be there. I can put a winter friend on there.
Can we just really quickly check why this isn't enabling when I try to click on it?
Yeah, it should be easy if you just show us those flows.
Yep. So I have continue and then it triggers validation step 1
So
on the
that's
current page.
the problem right there. You're
Oh,
not equal to blank. You well, I think what are you looking for really? Maybe-
Yeah, like
I'm
where does it set select MC answer? The other one for correct answer was 0 or 1. So my first thought was that this wasn't going to work because of that. But this is a different variable. We should look at where select MC answer gets set.
yeah, select MC answers on this card.
Oh, that was it. So there's a small.
So it is setting 0 or 1 there, right? That's what that means.
Yeah. So you're disabled by default. I'm guessing you run
Yes.
page load. That's why it's
Well,
set up.
this part doesn't even necessarily matter because basically what's happening is select MC answer is either 0 or 1. So you're looking for if select answer is not equal to blank. It's always not equal to blank.
Oh, okay.
So you have to compare to 0 1. There might be more things going on. Like I don't know if that'll fix it, but that's one like thing for sure that would break it. So that's back on the other page, yeah, where you do that condition. But I think it might. I don't know if it'll work or not just by this fix because there's a lot of steps. But yeah, so instead of doesn't equal blank, you can set this up in a lot of ways. You can say like either equals 1 or doesn't equal 0 is probably how you would say it. So if it equals 1, yeah, because if it doesn't equal 0, that means it equals 1. So you want to enable it.
She's
If
wanting
it
to
does
enable,
equal 0, you disable it.
but you want continue enabled no matter what, right?
Right, that's true. That's true.
I
Yeah, it
see, I
doesn't
see.
matter which one is selected as long as one is selected.
Just run. I would just. You don't even need this step though. As soon as they click it, you just run the continue enable flow
Okay.
from the other one. It will activate immediately.
So
No, I know why this setup is this way. Like from your other
right.
app that you build, like on page load to disable a button. Like in this sense, it's not necessary.
You could actually also just to like the quick hack way is just set both of those conditions to enable then, because you're triggering this flow anytime you click a button, and then this flow does more things. So if you want to like, it's a little weird to do, but if you want to not rearrange everything, just change that last flow there from continue disable to continue enable. And basically every time that you click the button, it's going to enable no matter what. Doesn't matter what is up top. It's just they're both going to enable. Something like that. But you could fix it later too. But just wanted to let you know that's like if you don't want to go crazy and rearrange everything.
Do you on page load run that right now? That would be the only.
Actually, that might be why.
If
Page
so,
load.
yeah, that won't work.
Page
Yeah,
load. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Page binding, just to double check it for us for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's actually good in this case. You don't want that in this case. So
Yeah, I think this is the right setup then, and in the future you could simplify it with the steps, but this should be fine then.
Nope, it's still.
oh,
Right.
weird. Maybe it's I don't know because now it should definitely be enabled. So maybe it's not running that or doing something different.
Let's go to the enable flow. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes.
So remove the disable class on the continue button and remove the disable attribute and set inner action.
Can you add a, okay, I guess click that, because on click it was doing something then, right?
Yep.
Let's see. Let's do,
Yeah, what's the click of the continue button right now? Like if you just like what's bound to it originally?
It enables it after I click the button.
Well, yeah. So if you go back to the studio and click that continue, like yeah, select that, and then let me see what that event is.
Oh, event.
so
That
you,
on the looks like it's so it's working. The action's working, but I think when you're clicking that that row page, it's not firing this validate step 1 action. The button click is firing it, and then it's doing the checks and becoming enabled. And actually, your last setup worked then because it's doing that. It was saying it's not blank and it was enabling it. But that flow looks like it's not running when you click the other one.
what I would guess then is, can you go to the run flow on page action from the answer row?
Yeah.
This one.
Like
Yep.
something, it seems like that flow is not running.
Yep.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
And then go to run the bottom one.
Yeah, that's the wrong flow. That's why.
Yep. So we just need to select a different flow, unless that flow is doing something else.
Which? Oh,
Yeah. That's
that might be
this
right,
is
actually.
This is a different flow to disable the select of the other questions. We just need to add another run flow on page.
okay. Duplicate.
There you go.
Yep. Duplicate it. And then what I would actually do, unweight the one above and then weight this one. So
I'm sorry.
remove the weight above step 4.
This one?
Yep. And then add it to above step 5. And now this one, we're going to go to select the parent page, but specifically call it out. Well, either way, you'll have to call it out, I guess. So it's not the question card, it's what's the one right above this?
Above
MC question. Dialogue MC question.
Yep.
And we want to run the
Validate step 1.
Validate step 1.
That should do it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I in my head, I didn't even like double check what that run flow on page was doing before.
Ooh, thank you. All right, I'm gonna stop now because I think I took too much time. Thank you so much for solving my problems.
One last thing I want to mention is on that button, you should remove that. When you click the button and it enables, you should remove that because in production, your users, before they select an answer, can click the button and it enables. So you don't need that actual
Wait,
thing.
sorry, can you say that again? Which?
on the like the default original continue button, it starts disabled. Like in the studio, it has an event bound to it. And you can remove that event. You don't actually want that click event.
Yeah, remove that. That's
oh, okay.
That's true.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank
Ian.
you.
And thanks, Josh and Drew. That was great. Okay, so let's move on. I wanted to call up Maine. Are you still on the call? Hey.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. If you're ready, I know you've got a few questions to go through. Let's start, eh?
Yeah, actually my questions for today are a bit difficult because I don't know how to explain them because I don't understand exactly what's going on. But let me showcase the problem and then we'll see. So I have an extension. It allows to select a portion like this of the website. And then when I click analyze, something happens on the back end and this thing disappears. So my problem is that it only disappears once. So if I redo this, it will no longer disappear. And my bigger problem is that I'm unsure how to Use JavaScript with
Next.
builder flows. So both actions are just JavaScript. And I have difficulties integrating that into my flows. Ideally, I would actually like all of this to just work with one button and not two. But I had to make two buttons because I need some stuff to be returned. It's like part of the problem actually. So where do I put this? So the way I wrote this JavaScript that allows to make the selection is that it's based on data listeners. So I can console log the stuff, but I cannot return it. However, I made a variable that actually saves it somewhere. But it only gets returned if I actually have another flow. I cannot make the thing that I want to be returned get returned in the same flow. I have no idea if you can follow me here.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Drew's going to be able to answer this better than I, like probably in this setting for sure. I have a link. I just DM'd you on Discord the link as well. In the builder bot YouTube tutorials I released a few weeks ago, I have this like basically functionally this exact thing happening where you're referencing things in JavaScript from that was set in builder, either a flow or something like that, and then reciprocally calling a builder flow from JavaScript directly. And so I want to see how Drew takes this because he might have a better solution anyways. But at the very least, like integrating your JavaScript custom code with any builder function or anything like that, that video, there's like a 10-minute, 12-minute gap there of content that will probably be really helpful.
Okay, amazing. What was the name?
The video name is, it's the builder bot, the messages row page. It's like a very specific page, but you've got it in Discord and I put it in this chat if anyone else cares to look with the
Okay, yeah, basically my questions is around that. I'm unsure how to work with JavaScript and the rest of builder.
We can look at it, like we can look at your JavaScript, but it sounds like it might actually be a timing issue. If the next flow can output what you want, it seems like it's working and it might be timing, but we'll see because you should be able to go back and forth. So I mean, we can look at the JavaScript now and just see if there's something obvious.
It is the timing because I have tried to do a the timer action, and then it works as expected. It's just that I do not know what delay to put because maybe someone will click here and then they will scroll the page and then they will make a selection here. So I do not know how to.
Yeah, that's like a way to debug and test. And so like you actually did it. You realize, you prove that it's a timing issue, but in production, you can't really rely on a timer like that and it won't work. So yeah, let's look at the code and see. There might just be a way that we need to do like a callback. So especially in custom JavaScript, you can do your own callback. So we can probably just figure out how to tweak it, I think.
Okay, let's see. So here is, I don't know, would you like to read through this or?
No, I don't have to do it all, I guess. At the end, so basically the point of this is to set that variable. I see it adds event listeners, but like ultimately a variable's coming out of this that you can't display right away, right?
Yeah. So I have put it as a global variable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way to do it. And then down here, I put a buppy something. Yeah, this is how I put it.
Oh, so you put on the root page. So like in JavaScript, global, not global, all that stuff is actually like, doesn't even matter for when, as soon as you use boppy helper set page variable, now you're like putting it into the builder system. You're like taking it from normal JavaScript and putting it into the builder system. So all the stuff that comes before that almost doesn't matter. What it says is you're setting a variable on the root page, because you have root specified, and then you set the variable name, and then you set the variable value. And so now it's like in Builder, you have a root page variable with that. So,
Mhm.
so that actually there will work, and it is working, but this is inside of a function I can see. So probably like that function is not complete, but like everything else keeps running. So you're outputting it, but then that function is not complete, and then that function finishes afterwards. So we just have to figure out a way to delay it, which basically if you scroll up a little bit, you have a curly bracket closing on line 57. I want to scroll up to where that curly bracket opens, if that makes any sense. The only thing I can break
Yes.
for.
So you see, my problem is that it has data listeners, right? So this only runs on mouse up, but the function itself runs even if the user doesn't do anything, right? Because
So
based on data listeners. So if there is no data listener coming in, the builder function, this action it runs, it's just that the output is 0 because no action has been taken.
I got you. Okay. So here's what I'll do. There's a similar function in how you have down there BAPI set variable. And that's how you're like using JavaScript to set a variable. There's a very similar one that's BAPI helper dot run page action. I can send you, I forget the exact syntax, but there's one here that'll run a builder flow out of JavaScript. What you can do is you can create a second flow. It's basically whatever happens on that analyze button almost. You know, you can do whatever you want here, but create a flow that's like that you want to trigger anytime, you know, you want to trigger this. And so you set on line 55, you set the variable in BAPI, and then in line 56, you'll add that run page action and just run that same flow that uses the variable. So every time you set it, you're just going to run it directly out of the JavaScript. That's definitely how I would handle it. Does that generally make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what I need. Perfect.
So
Okay.
I'll let me see if I can Google it quickly. I should be able to. I have like such a weird time finding the builder documentation when I used to Google it, and now it's switched to Notion. It doesn't show up in Google as easily. So give me a second, I'll pull it up.
I got it right here, Drew.
Oh, nice. My internet's actually super slow right now too. It's like my video's all choppy, and now I'm like trying to pull this up.
Okay. I got
Chat.
What'd you say?
a message.
Check out the meeting chat.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, where do I get the action ID from?
So you haven't created this flow yet, right? Like you're gonna have to create it, or do you want to use whatever happens on the analyze button? Is that what you want to use?
That's what I want.
Okay, so on the left side in flows, it's called, this is like a really dumb quirk that we're ironing out. It's called action ID in there, but it's actually flow ID is what you're looking for. So yeah, find that flow over here in 3 dots, and then we'll copy that ID.
Okay. Okay, I need to click here.
And this will be good to work through. But also, Main, the video I sent you is going to double down on this exact process. So you can see it too.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know about the video earlier.
No, this is great. I just wanted to reference it in case you want to explore a little further.
I have now lost the message.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just do this real quick. Just make sure that works. And
Yeah.
If you save it with an error, it might cause an issue. So I might just copy.
You can save it with an error temporarily, though. You're fine.
Okay, cool. I know
Sometimes you can break it, yeah, but this won't. It'll just be an error. Sometimes like you can put stuff in that actually like breaks the action. It's really dumb. And then you put that in quotes, that ID. And then it's on the current page, so that should be good. Except current, you can just delete that except current and delete the comma before it. Just remove it. That's like saying run on all pages except the current page. You don't need it. And then if there's not a semicolon after that line, yeah, put a semicolon. That should be all you need, I think.
I just need the console to make sure that logs whatever it should log.
Didn't work.
Mm-mm. So normally it should make this
There's
decision.
an error down there, handle mouse up. See that? Current page is not defined. Okay, so if you go back to that JavaScript, it's just what we wrote didn't work. See where it says, oh, it's a variable current page. See where you're on it, but if you scroll to the right and see where it says current page there, on line 56.
Yeah, right where you're hovering.
You need to change that to just the word current in quotation marks. There's another way you can write it too, if that doesn't work, but this should work. Just current in quotes. Yeah. But that was looking for a variable called current page, which we don't have, so it threw an error.
Is current underscore browser form the other way, Drew?
Yeah, that's the alternate way to write it. If this didn't work, we can try that. They should be the same, but maybe not. Didn't work, right?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, let's try current form. See what Josh just chatted into the chat here. It's like all capitals, current underscore browser underscore form. We'll use that instead of current in quotes.
Do I
No
need
quotes.
this
Use it.
in the quotes?
Yeah, remove.
Yep.
Josh just pasted in the chat. Yeah, perfect.
Yay!
It worked.
Perfect. Yeah, this is all I needed.
Nice. I couldn't even tell. Right, nice.
I
Nice.
was like, I don't know what happened. Are you happy?
We get 2 yays in the call today. I am happy. Thanks, Drew. Maine, look at her. She's so happy.
I
One
just
button, Maine.
Are you, I mean, is what this doing? Is this taking a picture of the selected spot and then you're getting the average pixel of that with your plugin?
yes.
Nice, that's cool.
I will find another way to hide this now that I can run the second action. So I think it's good.
Nice.
If you just side note, because we're talking about it, another way to, if you needed to identify a specific page, actually it's a little bit too long to get into.
Okay. Maine, did you have any of these other questions that you wanted to go through real quick? And then we can switch over to Phantom's question and wrap it up for today.
Let's try to
I
make sure.
still managed to work to make mixed panel work, but maybe someone could follow up with me on Discord. Or what's the best way of contacting you right now? Is it intercom?
Intercom for your project, yeah, for sure.
Okay, let me message there.
Yeah, and the way that it's working, Maine, is if it's like a bug report, then it's going into the queue and it's being triaged. You know, if it's urgent, it gets looked at right away. If it's like an issue in production or whatever, if it's a bug, then we write it and it gets triaged for fixing. But if it's like a question or something, ask that and then we'll get an answer for you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. So let's move over to you, Phantom. Are you still on the call?
I am, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So talk to us a little bit about, I know we were kind of talking in theory. Do you want to kind of recap? Let me see here. Okay, you were trying to send tweets from your app, and the newest approach is to have server-side function that's going to use the npm package, but for some reasons you can't publish the function. I think this was what Dorian wrote up, right, Drew? That just got fixed.
I think. I mean, I don't know for sure, but yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically the end question really is if one question is if I really can use server-side functions to achieve my goal. And the second question for today actually was if this is a bug in Builder itself that I cannot publish the function and it will be solved so I can work it out later, or it's something wrong with the content of my function.
It's
Let me-
probably the bug. We can confirm, but there is a bug with publishing server-side functions that I believe just got
It's resolved, but it wasn't in
soon.
yesterday's release, so it's gonna be coming in the next one.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So like I said, it's not really that
Question.
crucial for now.
it's,
I think there is rugging, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
Drew, I think you're a little bit frozen. I did just chat you the user ID. Or I'm sorry, the ID for what we just resolved. And I'm pretty sure it's Phantom's thing.
All right, I'll check it out. I don't know if I'm back or not, but yeah, I was
Yeah.
having
Okay.
no internet.
So, yeah, so what you.
Yeah,
the
this is the
issue that
bug.
You were having, okay, is gonna be fixed, but it's probably gonna be a few weeks before it makes it into production. A few weeks to a month before it
Okay.
makes it into production. So where are you on the timing of needing to do this in your project?
I'm not really sure about that at the moment. Probably I can somehow go without it for now. As like I said, it's more to help me myself
Your
with some operations as an so-called admin of an app. Yeah, so not that crucial. What I tried also was this approach Drew suggested at the very beginning. So as we have this bTwitter object available, so there is this. So I could work on the wrapper, which is accessible with headers section of this wrapper, and add some like try to figure out the function based on the one that is getting the user info to tweet. It's just a different endpoint, and then I would have to link an action, connect with the JavaScript function, and maybe that would work. But I messed this up completely. So
that sounds complicated.
Yeah, for me at least for now. So as
Yeah,
I
it'll be
have some
hard.
other stuff on the table, I gave up.
So is there,
I think when the server-side functions fixed, sorry, I think I'm behind on my video.
no, go ahead, Drew.
Okay, I think when the server-side function fixed, it is what you want. Like it'll do what you just described in an easier way, but it's still like really hard. Like the server-side functions, they're quirky and they're not as developed because like no one uses them. Like you can get everything done, and like if you were Dorian, you do whatever you want with server-side functions. So it'll be hard, but like it'll eventually work. In this situation, a workaround, which maybe would be like a permanent thing, like I might even just go to Make. Make automation platforms, kind of like Zapier. I mean, you can use Zapier too, I guess. But basically, you make that call for you. And with Make, you can create an endpoint, like send out whatever you want.
Sorry, you froze up. Can you restart? Not
think
the
so.
whole thing, but just what would you do in Make?
So in Make, you can basically create an endpoint where you can send whatever data you want, and then that will trigger actions like to do whatever you want. So you send your info from your builder app to Make will tweet it for you. And you can use that as a workaround in the meantime, but you could also just use that permanently too if you wanted,
That's what I actually did with PipeDream. So I used PipeDream for that. So now I have a bot, because like you pointed me to Morales API, and they have streams for the contract events, and that was perfect for me. So I have a stream that listens to the events on the contract. Then I get those, I extract data from the event, and I trigger the PyDream workflow that tweets for me. But the issue is I have hard time in PyDream to create the tweet with media attached after those changes in this API and stuff. And I have some code snippets from different sources to try, and I thought that maybe the easiest way would be to have the server-side function where I can play have this debugging for Sean and stuff. So, so yeah, still making circles around, but I've got the bot working. So instead of attaching the picture, I'm linking the OpenSea page, which has a preview, showcasing the NFT. But the problem is that the NFT that comes out from this kind of escrow contract has updated metadata. And OpenSea is behind, so it actually shows the wrong picture after all. So yeah, fun stuff.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to get that server-side function fix out to you.
Yeah, or maybe just give me this. This
It
action
sounds like you are completely capable of-
tweet with media, and I just put the URL or something. And
One question, I don't know enough about the API call they're doing this, but we are introducing multi-form API calls shortly. Is that one of the issues here? Is something that
that doesn't matter for this.
that doesn't matter for this? Okay, I wasn't sure if the media file issue was correlated. Never
No, it's
mind.
all links to media and Twitter. It's not, you don't have to actually upload the media.
Gotcha.
It is doable because I at some point playing with the codes and ChatGPT, I managed to upload the file to Twitter and link it to the tweet. But the problem is that the process of sending media to Twitter is kind of complicated. It goes in chunks and so on. And if the file is big, like I have a hard time in PipeDream because of the timeout, because of the other limitations. I went for the paid plan, but it didn't help. So yeah, and I don't want to like pay for 5 different services to perform such a simple thing at the end of the day.
Okay.
Can we move to Chris? So to make sure we.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Phantom, and we'll get that fixed shortly. Chris, I know you were having an issue with using a different email provider for the auth emails, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So it looks like inside here, I'll try to share really quick. I know we're almost out of time. Boop, boop, boop. Inside of here. This section here looks like it uses mostly JSON, and then I am using Mailgun. I already have Mailgun, so this is the reason why I'm using it. They use, hang on, I might just hit the wrong button. They use form, and they use a basic authorization. So usually this is like a username, and that would be the password. But for them to just use API as a username, and then you stick your API key in here. So I'm just trying to figure out what do we do inside of Builder to pass information. I do know that this works fine. I've been able to use from a command line, and I can get the email to come back. This information, I figured out, it's similar to it's basically this same thing. So the token, and then I figured this is your special notation using the less than greater than. Is that right?
That's us putting the token, all the info in there.
Okay. Go ahead.
You're close. So like you on the builder side, it's like it's asking you. See how it says the labels are like your post URL, headers, and body. Those are like standard API things, the headers and body and stuff with API. And what you're looking at in their documentation is the curl requests, and you basically just have to like convert it. It's not hard. Like you just so like the authorization part where it's using your user and your API key, that's in here. That's that, and you have to just do it the way they need it set up. So I think it's that same basic, but I don't remember. Oh, okay, just user and API. It's a little different. Like you might even have to Google or ChatGPT if it doesn't work, because like it doesn't look like theirs is authorization and then basic space API key. It looks like theirs you have to like set the user instead of authorization. So there will be like a little, like you'll have to figure out how to
Oh,
get
so
that
this
right.
might be
but-
user instead of authorization.
Yeah, and I don't
Is-
know the exact syntax. So it might not be exactly that, but you'll be able to Google it quickly. It's a common thing.
Because the
and
ChatGPT
and the
came
ones
back and they said it was
below-
user or authorization. So that's, but I'll
Yeah,
think
yeah,
around
yeah.
with it.
Drew, question for me too. It looks like that's a multi-form API call.
I don't know. Go back to the documentation. It might usually things don't have to be multi-form, even sometimes when it says they do.
It is a multi-form technically, but I think it's only being sent one option. Oops. Now ChatGPT came back and said this is a multi-form.
Yeah,
Type.
that's okay.
Okay.
That doesn't matter, I don't think. Unless it says somewhere that it is required to be. That part shouldn't matter. This is giving you in a format where it's like treating it like that in a way, but all you have to look at is those things that say -f. That's like your body JSON. So you're gonna have from and a value, you're gonna have to a value, subject a value, template a value, and then X Mailgun variables. And there's like an
Yeah,
object
this
in
is
there.
just a JSON of the variables.
Yeah. So you're just converting all that basically into JSON. Then you got it. It's like mostly there. Yeah. So that's probably
Yeah.
good there.
So when I run it, and it comes back and it says, and I get an error. Is there any way to see what this error is?
Yeah. If you right click and inspect, you can watch this request come through. I mean, the error is definitely your auth. That is going to say 401 unauthorized. But what you do is once you have this open, you go to the network tab. So it's selected on style. Oh yeah, there you go. So if you have this network tab open, then try to sign in, and you'll see in that network, you'll see a list item for what I forget what this one exactly is called.
Is it? Oh, network didn't show up. There it is.
Yeah. So see that forgot password. If you click on forgot password, you can see details about it.
Oh, I see.
And then, so you got payload. Headers is stuff that's kind of like confusing looking at this, but the ones that are important is payload is what you're sending it. And preview is what it's sending back. So it's
Okay.
telling you content type invalid. So actually it might have to be multi-part form data, but it's saying content type is invalid. That also could be because you didn't specify content type. I've tried, but if you go back, you tried.
Yeah, I've tried and it still errored out, but this will give me a way to start debugging down to figure out what's going on. Because that was the most
I mean,
confusing part.
if you do content type of application JSON, which is like the most common one usually, I think that'll fix this error. So I don't know if you'll get another error, but I think this error is actually coming from Builder, not coming from your mail thing. And it's saying content type invalid, but what it means is there's no content type sent. I think that might be what's going on, but you can try it and see. And yeah, like once you see this, I mean, every time it comes back, it's going to tell you exactly what's wrong. So you'll be able to.
Yeah, that helps me a lot. One last quick question before you guys take off. In here, okay. Here you're using these as your, your placeholder for your variable. As you can see in, what Mailgun is asking for is I have to put it in here. So I would essentially have to do something like this, like
that's because that's what they have to like.
Yeah, you want to use that. That's going to convert before it sends to your mail program. It's going to convert those specific values that we have in the documentation. It'll convert it to the email address that's filled out. Or
I would have to do essentially this because I had to put the other these in. Do I need to escape these at all?
I don't think you need to do that actually, but maybe I misunderstand. So like if you want the from to always come from a specific email, you just type it in. If you want it to be like dynamic, like the user's email, that's where you put that builder syntax.
Okay, so here's the example, right? So they do name plus the email address, and then you have to put the email address inside of the less than greater than.
That's all.
Oh, I see.
So what I'm asking is, do I need to escape it on this side because there's going to be two?
Yeah,
you need to put your variable in.
That. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's correct right there. But I don't know if that's actually what you want because you don't want the from to come from a dynamic place, probably, right?
Well, okay, so then it would be down here. This would be the one I'd put
but
in.
yeah, you can You can set it up that way. And really like that, the way that it says name and then it has the email in the less than greater signs,
Yeah.
you don't even need to do that. You can replace that whole line with just the builder variable if you want, and it'll just send it. That's just like a different way that they write it.
Oh, I see.
So
Because I don't really need the name to send it off, as what you're saying.
right. You might want the name, like you might, it's optional, like it'll show up with the
Yeah,
name if you send it, but
sorry.
you don't have to do that.
Yeah, so Chris, where you're saying the from, that's what it's gonna show. This is a forgot password email that they're gonna be getting, right? So from, it should probably be the name of the app. Instead of Christopher, I might default whatever the
Yeah,
name.
I should have used the to instead of from when I was talking about it, because this would be whatever. This could be like from like, you know, like admin at my app name.
Yes,
I just have to use my
exactly.
name.
The
But that
bottom
one will convert
two-
correctly.
Yeah, the two is definitely what you want to be dynamic, and you want to
Right.
use builder nomenclature, because it's gonna pull, when they click that reset password, it's gonna go run and check who's the current user, or who's the login, and it's gonna send it to them, right? So you definitely want that to be dynamic.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'll try using just the email address first, and then I'll try adding the name later. That's fine. And then the one last question is the magic link. So the only reason I'm doing this is I can't log back into my my own app right now because I can't remember what the password is, and I don't want to
In there.
reset. So I'm just trying to get the emails out. So this is a reset password link, pretty easy, verify. What's the magic link one? Is that this one?
Uh, no, the video walks through this more specifically. I'm having trouble remembering based off this look.
I don't remember specifically either, but I
the magic
don't.
link is the session validation. That's what, if you look in the auth
Oh,
setting.
it's that top one, right? Verify session link. That's what it is.
No.
Verify session link is what is the magic link, because you're verifying the session. You're not verifying the account that's below it.
Where did you get these names? Sorry, where did you get?
This is from the documentation in the or wherever it's from here, but it's also from the documentation in the auth pattern.
That's correct.
He's got the preview of this page up right now.
You're
Oh,
selected
okay.
on the correct magic
Yeah,
link.
Drew knows how that works.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this is the
that's
magic link.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll work it from there. I think the big takeaways are I need to work on changing this, partly putting in the form type, and then I'll see if this takes, and then if that takes, then I know that I can pass right information from there.
Yeah, once you get that content type fixed, then you'll see a new error or it'll work. So you'll just be able to go step by step.
Yeah, okay, great. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, thank you, Josh and Drew, and thanks to everyone in the call for making it an awesome office hours. I'll try and get these uploaded as soon as I can. Otherwise, we'll see y'all in Discord and next week. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.